Okay.
You have anything more on that one? And police department, police chief. I'm gonna come back to what I had said a long time ago, that the police department, as it is in many other municipalities, reports to the supervisor in charge of public safety with a dotted line to the township manager versus to the township manager directly. Do you have any?
I had made a comment, the chief reports directly to the board of supervisors.
Either way.
And that was only from places that I was aware of, so. Is there an organizational chart for Mount Pleasant Township that anybody's aware of?
Yes.
We created one for discussion purposes here.
We don't need to go over it tonight, I was just
No.
asking.
I have one.
Okay.
I mean, that can be done either way, whether it's a public safety supervisor or the board, it don't matter. But I just think that's the way, any other municipality I looked at, that's the way it's done.
As long as you have the dotted line, I think, to the manager.
Well, there has to be a dotted line.
Yes, it absolutely has to be a dotted line.
There has to be a dotted line.
Our township manager is responsible for overseeing the entire operation of the township. And even in the grievance procedure that's identified in the collective bargaining contract, they go first to the chief of police, and the second place they go is to the township manager, not to the board of supervisors.
Having him report to the whole board is a difficult issue.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Just because if it's
And
a
that's-
fluid
right.
situation, you can't be making 3 calls.
yep.
Right.
Right.
The way you worded it's fine.
Some other comments, under job description. We have in there, position also includes contract management, procurement solicitation and recommendations, project management, handling citizen issues and responding in a timely manner. Blah, 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 blah. Procurement solicitation recommendation. I'm clear about the procurement part is addressed later, about what I can and cannot buy. And I think that's just put up there kind of just as a definition, and then it's defined down below, and I don't have a problem with that. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right, that's quite all right. I've looked at these, I know where you're going. See, but you see, that is what we're referencing when we say that that kind of oversight has to be in the hands of our township manager. Our township manager is responsible for that budget, and she is responsible for returning to us.
And later on, we have about that.
Yes.
So that's just kind of a general comment,
Right.
and then
Right.
we get specific at the
It's a
bottom.
summary, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, subordinate supervisor manages and leads police department staff directly or through subordinate supervisors using leadership skills. Comment is, I usually assign someone as a point of contact if I'm not available, vacation, etc. Are we planning on officially promoting someone to some sort of rank if I'm not available? Not at this time,
No.
I don't think we
I
are.
don't think so.
No, and that's
And I don't think that's
Back to my
implied in
whole
that.
comment about the public, I mean, I'm all for 24/7 police department in Mount Pleasant Township, but I don't think.
Right.
We're not growing big enough that we're,
We're gonna have sergeants.
couldn't have
and-
sergeants, lieutenants, and detectives and everything else.
But I think what that's referring to is if Lou is on vacation and Amanda's covering it for him, then
Right.
she's the person.
Right.
Yeah, but I wouldn't write that in the job description.
I wouldn't,
No.
With too many part-timers, who knows who it's
Right.
gonna be.
right. Yeah, it's
Budget,
purpose-
submitted budget for many years, most of the budget workshops, figures are changed and altered, and I'm never notified, find out after the fact. Well, that's not good if that's the case. Because as he said, he could anticipate one number and it'd be totally different. So we need to do a better job of making sure that all departments are aware when we change budgets or we cut their budget, why it was cut and how much was cut. That's our job, the township manager's
That's
job.
This board.
Requesting a monthly report so he can better track his budget. And I don't have a problem with him getting a copy of the year-to-date budget and where he's at and what his expenditures are. I think every department should get that. We've got the budget, what their expenditures have been and what they have left. They should get that on a monthly basis as far as I'm concerned.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't know what would be required in order to do that,
She prints it.
but you just print it, yeah,
Yeah, she prints it to us. I mean, I think.
yeah,
So, yeah, that's not a problem.
right. But that isn't something that goes in the
No.
job description either.
Again, the $250 comes up with approval of the township manager. And an easy example, ammunition, that'll be almost double. Another example, tires, vehicle repairs. That can be over that. So I think we need to take a look at that 250 and maybe we up it to 500. Because they have a budget anyway.
And when I was asking the questions before, I'm more curious on how it was done here previously, so I have a better understanding of the process, you know.
I don't think
And
the
I-
250 is a new concept, though.
Yeah, I just,
Yeah,
I wanna
that's
think
what
about
it's
it a
been.
little bit,
Yeah.
because Public Works and the police with ammunition, I mean, think about your own car, you take it to get work done, when's the last time you got a bill, unless you were getting your oil changed or something, or went to Hickory Auto, that your bill was gonna
Every time I go to Hickory Auto,
It's $500 at least.
less than $250. I mean, it's expensive to do that.
Oh, absolutely it is, and before I go to Hickory Auto, I check with my financier to make sure I've got the money in the bank account too.
So,
Because he needs another hunting
And
trip.
my financier is my wife.
yeah,
Yeah, I think we need to, when we come back, the next time to discuss these, we need to have a better figure for that, for all the departments. And grants, research grants throughout the year, submit to the respective agency and incorporate grant requests during budget preparation. Sometimes that's hard to do because when the grants come up, and Lou said he looks for grants, but police grants are far and few in between, and any of the state grants that were out there are drying up. So I think it's in there that he's supposed to look for them, and I think we expect them to do
But
that.
that's one of the advantages of making sure that our folks go to these conventions that deal with those issues as well.
14, I don't think there's a new report for the manager, that's just, Repairs and Smith's monthly reports to township manager. That is actually the board report that gets submitted to
Yeah.
the manager, so it does.
I would just add to that, monthly reports to the board of supervisors and township manager regarding the department's activities.
There you go.
Right, here it is.
Yeah, it was in there.
Yep.
10 conferences, 10 main meetings I can in the area. Most conferences cost money, always been an issue in the past. There was never a budget for these.
It's not really a job description issue.
No. Well, we do say that he's supposed to attend conferences, and what he's saying, the budget hasn't allowed it in the past, so. But that's, other than that, that was the only comments.
Okay.
Anybody else have any more? You have any? All right. Through the first round of them,
Does that do it?
we'll revisit them next meeting.
Next meeting.
That's pretty good though.
Good.
That was a big job.
Hopefully we'll have, I thought I had something else to bring up. Just full nonsense to me
What?
right now.
I'm dead.
Oh. Back in, whenever this was, we passed a resolution for rules of order and running of the meeting. That was back in August. I'd like to revisit that and have some discussions on it. At the time, I had requested that the audio tapes be kept and for 6 months in case we ever had to go back to them, and I was shot down on that. So
Well, we can revisit that.
I'd like to revisit that, and also, right now in our agenda, we only have one place for the public to comment. I would like to add the second one again. The first one being that the public can comment only on the budget, on the agenda items, and we'll get that through, and then back, either it's after board discussions or unfinished business, we have another, which they can talk about any other concerns they have.
I don't have a problem with that.
So the first item 2 on the agenda would be public comment regarding the agenda items only, and then the last item on the agenda before adjournment would be public comments regarding whatever they want to speak
Yes.
about.
Why not put it after adjournment?
No, adjournment has to be last.
Adjournment has to be last, you gotta have.
I know, yeah, but
You want to be informal outside the meeting, outside the meeting.
No, I'd rather have it part of the meeting. before we-
It has to be part of the meeting.
Yes.
Well, it's not public comment if it's not part of the meeting, it's just comment.
Yeah, I would want it
Okay.
before we adjourn.
okay. I don't have a problem with that.
And then, we also changed the sign-in to only the people that want to speak. Is it not more prudent if we have everybody sign in so we know who attends the meeting?
I would not do that. I think if it were me, I wouldn't sign in to tell you I attended a public meeting. I mean, people have been gracious and signed in, but
I
why
know,
would
but it used
you
to
sign
be,
in?
everybody signed in.
I know, but somebody made that up. I mean, the requirement is that if you're gonna speak, you have to state your name and your address. But you can have everybody sign in, there's just no
I did-
basis for
Well,
it.
I just thought it might be beneficial at some point to know who all attended the meeting, I don't know.
So this sign-in sheet's purpose is,
Only if you want to speak.
but that helps in, when they state their name and their address, if we didn't understand it right for the
Ostensibly,
minutes.
but I tried to read it too. But yeah, that is exactly right,
That's the
because
purpose
it's
for that.
important to know who's
Okay.
part of public.
That's fine.
I agree that there should be a sign-in sheet for everybody to sign in, but I'll agree with Neva.
Yeah.
It does chill the
As many
purpose.
municipalities that I've walked into for meetings and signed, you'll watch it, and even here, I'm sure there's a bunch of people walk right past there, even when you were supposed to sign.
I
they
do.
don't sign.
I certainly would not make it a requirement.
No, but
Yeah.
just a request.
Yeah,
I don't have, like Jeff
But-
said tonight, he signed it, just got a habit, when you walk into
Right.
a meeting, you sign it. I think Sign it, you're here at the meeting. If they choose not to sign it, they choose not to sign it, but they should sign it. You know what I mean?
That's not a record of anything,
Right.
right? If some sign and some don't, then you don't know who was at the meeting or not. So, but
Right.
if everybody who speaks signs up, then that's what you have a record of. Just-
I don't have a problem with it.
You allowed to take questions? Send it around.
Do you mind if I bug out? Do you
No.
mind if I bug out?
No. I think we're about,
If you're gonna
You
have
have some
additional
stuff to bring
public
up?
comment?
Yeah, I just have a couple, but there won't be any action items.
no,
Okay,
actually,
no, wait, if you were gonna take public comment, I was gonna, go.
we'll do that after we're done with.
Yeah, okay.
One of the comments when I was on planning commission that I always made, so I wanted to make sure that I brought this up. On August 4th, the planning commission recommended an ordinance to the supervisors that John Tran and us John Tran drafted it and we gave him the information to amend in the R4 neighborhood core district.
Yep.
And to date, nothing's been done with it. I just wanted to see if and when you guys were gonna do anything with that, because I would like it to move forward.
I think it should move forward.
I
Do
think we
we
should.
know why it
I-
didn't? Because I don't, other than it just didn't get advertised, or, because I don't have,
I never even, I don't know, is there ever even an ordinance drafted? Revision
Yeah.
drafted?
Yeah, I have it right here.
drafted.
Yeah.
But it never came before the board, and I don't know.
And that was,
The board.
if you go through planning commission meetings, minutes from the past, we've made a lot of motions that got to here, and this is before your time. Nothing ever happened. And that's why I wanted to bring this one up, because it was,
And
My
that,
guess is that this fell somehow through the crack in the middle of maybe the conditional use permit,
That
because
could've
I
been.
knew about this, and I
yeah, I knew it was there
thought.
too.
And then I
Yeah,
don't
I
remember
read it.
anything else about it.
And-
So if you don't mind, I'll take this to remind me,
yeah.
and then I'll get it on the list. It's a public hearing requirement.
Yeah, because
So
we'll have to
we-
advertise a public hearing.
Yeah,
Right.
so I can do that before
Maybe
the
that was
next.
because that was gonna all go together
It
in
was,
one
I mean,
advertisement.
it was
But I don't,
supposed to go
I
with
think
something
this is
else.
important enough, and it, for that our district, we need to do that now, because it's gonna be months before we get the other one
I'll
done.
make
Yeah.
myself a
This-
note.
John drafted it. It's his.
Yeah.
I don't-
I just want to make sure, I remind myself, because I do think it was supposed to get connected to something
Yeah.
else
Right.
with
Well,
one ad.
I think there was
We can
talk,
do it.
since we were doing all the other ordinances, or doing the comprehensive plan, we thrown in with part of that, but
Well,
there's
there
no
was-
reason for that.
There was,
There was something else going on
I
at
mean,
the
we had
time.
talked about at the planning commission about keeping it with oil and gas, and it was like, this is pretty cut and dry, let's just move this forward.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I think it just, truthfully, I think it just fell through the cracks. So I'll get the ad for the public hearing to Larry, and do you do that, or does Mary Ann?
For,
The advertisements for public hearings?
Either vote.
So I'll send
We'll
it
make
to
sure it's
them, and
done.
we'll get it in the
Alright.
paper.
Do it before the,
And you can have the public hearing at the next meeting if you want.
That might have been during the discussion of the M1 area too.
No, it was after.
yeah,
after that?
after that.
Yeah, no, I remember it very
Yeah,
clearly.
all right.
I remember
I
having a
just
number
don't
of
know why
questions
it fell
about
off
it,
the
I think.
radar.
because if, we don't need a motion to advertise the public hearing,
No.
I mean, this, okay.
You do need a motion to advertise.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
All right.
I'll make a motion to advertise a public hearing to amend the zoning ordinance to delete, modify, and add certain uses permitted in the R4 neighborhood core district and provide for servability and repeal of prior inconsistencies in the ordinance.
I'll second that. Public comment?
On just that?
Yeah.
Just the advertisement.
No public comment. Any discussion amongst the board? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? Motion carries.
Okay. I'll
One
take
other-
care of that.
One other thing, I just wanted to publicly say thank you to the police department. I got a call, I didn't know nothing about it, but Officer Brewer, I guess, had did a community service thing for the Boy Scouts and went out and did fingerprinting, handcuffs, Lou, maybe you can explain, because I'm not sure what it all was, but I got a call from one of the parents and said the kids really loved it, so I just wanted to, in public, personally thank her for doing that, so.
All right.
Um, Next thing was, I don't know in the past if the townships ever applied to the Washington County Conservation District to the dirt, gravel, and low-volume road maintenance
I brought
program.
that up already. I was down and talked to Mary Ann and Bill about, yeah,
Yeah, Caldwell's gonna be one of them.
Caldwell
Serenity
and
Farms.
Serenity Farms.
Okay,
So they're gonna-
did they sign up for the training?
Yeah.
Okay. The only other thing I was gonna bring up was, that was another reason I voted no on the whole training stuff, because you can look on there, and that's, I was hoping that, my recommendation was I wanted, you know, Bill and, 'cause I was looking at the people that, when their certifications expired, I would like, a lot of townships have more than one person certified in that, so I would prefer to have more than one person in the township go through that training. And it's, the trainings, I believe, the application fee is free for that. It's a 2-day class and it's in, I believe on Racetrack Road, the Doubletree, I think on Racetrack Road, I believe, so it's May 5th and 6th.
You wanna do that since you're?
I don't wanna do it, no. I mean, I'm not gonna,
No.
No, I would-
How about Mickey? Bill and Mickey go.
that's fine, I mean, I, you know, thought of Mickey, but I would just like.
That's a very reasonable cost, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And you know, it's good for 5 years, the training, and then that allows you to apply for the grant.
Right.
All right, so why don't we make a motion, I'll make a motion that Bill and Mickey attend the conservation
District Dirt, Gravel, and Low Volume Road Maintenance Program Grant Application Mandatory EMS Training.
You got that?
I don't know if you need a motion for it, but.
Yeah, she,
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
spending money, she has no tape, so you better make sure she can hear that or knows what
Yeah,
that
I didn't even hear the last one, so I'm gonna have to get a copy of that, because you read it right off that ordinance, I think.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
make a copy of it, because I pulled this out of my planning commission stuff, I'll make it before I leave.
Okay, so we got a motion, is there a second?
Who made the motion?
I did.
I'll second it.
Oh, okay.
Any public comments? Board comments? All in
I think
favor?
it's a good idea.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed no? Motion carries.
I don't have nothing else.
Do we want me to make a motion to make these changes to the resolution about adding the area for public comments and keeping the audio tapes for 6 months?
You probably just need her to revise it and bring it back to you for the next meeting.
All right,
Yeah, let's do that.
okay,
Yeah.
Since it's a resolution.
okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn.
Well, let's
Well,
see if we're,
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
that's right. You wanted
I'll
to
talk
do
to
that.
you about
Go ahead.
the
My public comment was on exactly what you're talking.
Okay.
When you call for public comment, do we have to be a resident of Mount Pleasant Township, or are we open to anyone who is in the public that comes in?
it should be a resident of Mount Pleasant
And I
Township,
would
is not,
suggest that we state it that way, if that's the way it is.
I gotta wait for Neva.
Sidebar.
Oh, did you want me to ask?
For
you
public
something?
comment, since this is the Mount Pleasant Township meeting, is it only Mount Pleasant Township? You can't,
There's
okay,
case law that expands it to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, right, Mary Ann? Yeah.
all right,
You can read
No.
legislation that'll say that, but the case law says
okay.
otherwise. But
But
I
I-
think that's an issue.
I do think it's a good thing to have it separated.
Yeah,
If we get into
I
resolution,
said that
then you guys
before.
can discuss that.
Is there any other,
Those reports, you pass them all one time. It's like Brian's from Planning Commission slipped through the fingers. I think it'll take a little bit more time, but I think all those reports should be read out loud before, so that nothing slips through your fingers. I realize that's gonna take more time, but I think in this case here, it would've been more
would probably
valuable.
caught that?
Nobody does it. And that, the ordinance that slipped through had nothing, wouldn't have been on the report list.
Well, it should have been on the planning, well, it should have been on the minutes.
No, it got lost between planning and here. It
Oh.
had nothing to do with the list of
All
reports.
right,
I'm glad.
Okay, one more thing.
yeah.
Fort Cherry Road, is that a state road?
State road.
That's a state road?
And we've been after them about the plowing and how terrible it is, yeah.
Yeah, it is really
Police
bad.
have called, Bill's called, Mary Ann's called, I've called, I think everybody in Hickory has called.
Is that one of the contract ones?
That's a contracted one.
And
Yeah, this side is bad enough, the other side is
It's,
terrible.
believe me, it's horrendous.
The old Giuliani site.
Yeah.
Pizza place on
Anybody else?
Yeah, give it
Yep.
back to the state.
That second
You
public
guys.
comment, I think you need to limit the time on that, especially if you get some outsider in here who just wants to ramble on about something.
They're always
insignificant.
limited to 3 minutes.
Okay, fine.
Anybody else? You're up.
I move that we adjourn.
Second, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no? Motion carries.